Imagine walking into a room full of people, and instead of wondering, do they like me? Your brain immediately thinks, I don't care if they don't. For most people, that thought is terrifying. Human beings are hardwired to seek approval. It's a survival mechanism. But for a specific percentage of the population, the true lone wolves, being disliked isn't a failure. It's a strategy. It's a filtration system. If you've always felt like an outsider, if you prefer a tiny circle of friends, or if you feel a strange sense of comfort when people don't get you, you've probably been told you're antisocial, cynical, or just stubborn. But psychology says something completely different. Today, we're breaking down the hidden psychological machinery of the lone wolf. And by the end of this video, you'll realize why your preference for being disliked isn't a personality flaw. It might actually be your ultimate competitive advantage. And if you want to master the hidden patterns of human behavior, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Brainbox. Let's dive in. To understand the lone wolf, we first have to look at the opposite personality type. In psychology, there's a framework called the Big Five personality traits. One of the main pillars is agreeableness, how much you value harmony, cooperation, and keeping the peace. High agreeableness sounds like a good thing, right? Society rewards it. We praise people pleasers. But high agreeableness has a massive hidden tax. When your primary goal is making sure everyone likes you, you are constantly trading your authenticity for their approval. You say yes to projects you hate. You nod along with opinions you disagree with. Essentially, you dilute who you are just to fit into a mold. The lone wolf looks at that deal and says, no thanks. Psychologists find that lone wolves score low on trait agreeableness, but not because they want to cause drama. They just value autonomy over harmony. When you stop caring about being liked, you suddenly unlock a massive amount of mental energy. You stop performing for an audience. There's a fascinating cognitive concept called Low Latent Inhibition LLI. Most people have a built-in mental filter. When they walk into a crowded room, their brain automatically ignores the background noise, the flickering lights, the micro-expressions on 20 different faces, and the subtle shifts in social dynamics. But people with low latent inhibition absorb everything. Their brains process the environment in high definition. Many lone wolves possess a version of this trait. When you notice every fake smile, every passive-aggressive comment, and every hidden motive in a room, socializing isn't fun. Choosing to be a lone wolf isn't always about hating people. Often, it's a form of sensory and emotional budgeting. You prefer your own company because your inner world is already loud enough. You don't need the extra noise of 100 superficial relationships. You prefer your own company because your inner intellectual world is already incredibly loud, complex, and stimulating. You simply refuse to pollute it with the empty noise of 100 transactional relationships. To understand the profound freedom of this mindset, we can look to a profound psychological and philosophical concept: the paradox of rejection. In the 19th century, Friedrich Nietzsche wrote extensively about the herd mentality, the human tendency to seek safety in numbers by adopting identical beliefs, behaviors, and moralities. Nietzsche argued that true greatness requires a person to break away from the herd, to become an individual, even if it means incurring the wrath and dislike of the collective. More recently, this was popularized through Alfred Adler's psychological school of thought, specifically the principle known as the courage to be disliked. Adler posited a radical truth: all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. If you live your life constantly trying to avoid criticism, you are not actually living your own life. You are living a life curated by the people around you. You are giving everyone else remote control over your emotional state. The lone wolf intuitively understands this. The moment you actively accept and even lean into the reality that people are going to dislike you, a massive psychological shift occurs. You unlock a level of personal freedom that money cannot buy. Immunity to manipulation. You cannot be controlled via guilt or social shaming because you never desired their validation in the first place. Decoupling from groupthink. You don't care about being left out of social cliques because you never viewed their inclusion as a prize. Unfiltered veracity. You can speak clearly, act decisively, and pursue highly unconventional goals because you aren't protecting a fragile, manufactured reputation. In a hyper-connected society where everyone is walking on eggshells, desperately curating a sanitized, universally likable online persona, the person who genuinely doesn't mind being the villain in someone else's story holds immense leverage. They become entirely unpredictable, unbothered, and psychologically bulletproof. However, an accurate psychological breakdown requires us to look into the shadow side of this archetype. There is a razor-thin line between healthy, self-actualized independence and destructive, trauma-driven isolation. In clinical psychology, excessive withdrawal can sometimes be a manifestation of what's known as a dismissive avoidant attachment style. This occurs when a person has been deeply hurt, betrayed, or let down early in life. To protect themselves from ever feeling that vulnerability again, their subconscious constructs a narrative. I don't need anyone. I prefer being disliked. People are inherently untrustworthy. Furthermore, some individuals use the lone wolf label to romanticize traits that are actually rooted in the dark triad, specifically covert narcissism, or antisocial tendencies. They convince themselves they are superior to the crowd, using arrogance as a shield to hide deep-seated social anxiety or a fear of rejection. If you are using your isolation to run away from the discomfort of human connection, you aren't operating from a place of strength. You are operating from a foxhole. The truly evolved lone wolf isn't bitter, resentful, or angry at the world. They don't look down on the herd with contempt. Instead, they possess what psychologists call high self-authorship. They can navigate social hierarchies perfectly fine when a situation demands it. They can shake hands, network, and charm a room. They simply choose not to anchor their identity there. They return to the wilderness by choice, not out of fear. Ultimately, the psychology of the lone wolf comes down to understanding the absolute power of a strategic filter. If you are universally liked by everyone you meet, it means you stand for absolutely nothing. It means you've bent, warped, and compromised your personality so severely that you've rendered yourself entirely invisible. But when you choose to be unapologetically authentic, you act as a human magnet. And magnets don't just attract, they also violently repel. By being perfectly willing to be disliked by the masses, you clear out the superficial clutter. You create the necessary space to attract the very few individuals, opportunities, and ideas that actually align with your core values. Stop looking at your preference for solitude as a missing piece of the puzzle. It's not a defect. It's your shield, your filter, and your compass. If this analysis hit home, drop a comment below. Let me know, are you a true lone wolf, or are you still developing the courage to be disliked? Make sure to hit that subscribe button, drop a like to help beat the algorithm, and I will see you in the very next video.